Welcome to another Kyle High Club podcast episode. And usually, like usual, I have got a very special guest. Today, I've got a recurring guest again, Jordan Redcage from the band Joy Club Cassidy, also aka known as the Mailman. Welcome, Jordan.
Thank you for having me once again, Mr. Kyle.
It's only a pleasure to have you. And today I've got a very special podcast planned. Um, so would you classify as your band as punk?
Um, from the get-go, I think it's important to know that sometimes you find yourself being that which you try to do as well, which you try to portray. But seeing as music is the way it is, I would say the genre of music that we are classified to lately falls more under the rock category. The only reason that I would say that is because I feel it would, based upon the predisposition of punk,
Yeah,
known mostly known for anyone can start a punk band, like it's easy, you don't have to be good on an instrument. And I feel the musicians that I work with, especially, it would do them an injustice to label it just because of that preconception, the false preconception that punk is easy, which is, it isn't. But I mean, I'm not gonna fight the masses on that. So I would classify our genre more as just rock. But me
but
being who
you're
I am punk
yeah.
from like every fiber of my being. Like, and being the lead singer and the message that I write, and mostly the way that I write songs, is definitely still construed as punk, but the music behind it is probably more lending itself to rock,
But
I would say.
that's why I have you here today because I feel I mean punk is basically to me way more of a culture than it is a genre.
Yes.
I mean,
Like a kind of a lifestyle. I know everyone always says like punk's not a genre, it's a lifestyle, but it's more than just that saying. It's you could be punk, right? And not even know that you would fit into that category, because categories being what they are, we're not really here to label anyone. But
yeah,
I mean, punk is essentially if you see someone doing something that a kid, a child, would recognize as being wrong. Let's just quick example: kicking a dog. Anyone could see that and say, "Hey, that's not right.
that's wrong.
You can't do that." And if you stand up to that, if you are the person saying something, even though you were raised to no, 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 that's your elder, you should respect them and don't say anything, then you are punk, because that is all it is. That is essentially what it is. It is the underdog fighting for the masses, even though you are in a crowd of 10,000, the only one saying, hey, this is wrong.
That's probably like
You
one
know?
of the most beautiful things that comes to my mind when I think punk, fighting for the masses, You've
Yeah.
got all of these people talking politics and really harsh topics, and everybody is hiding behind the news and stuff like that. But when I think punk, I think of the guys in the riots throwing Molotov cocktails and actually vocalizing what is wrong because they're sticking it to the man way more than anyone else does. And I think
Exactly.
taking punk in as a subculture, that is the one thing that comes to mind is vocalizing what you're feeling. That a lot of people see it as angst. A lot of people, I mean, anarchism is also part of, some subculture of punk. But, that what you're saying over there is vocalizing to what is not right. That is the one thing that I love about the punk subculture.
Yeah. I mean, if you just take rock, like I just said, the band's music is more focused, probably, or more tending towards the rock, but the message is still that of punk. It's still that same kind of rhetoric. I'm never scared to say anything,
Mm.
and the thing with punk also being the way that it is, it's also, as anything is, if you watch something on TV and then you think it's one way and then you portray it that way, sub genres as it be, or as it is, like you said, some of the people seeing that growing up saw it as violent by nature.
Yeah.
And they took that violence to heart and thought, okay, the only thing that this thing is violence. And unfortunately, you always get that within every genre. You get people that take it too far. But I mean, punk was never about violence. It was actually the exact opposite about that. It's more about awareness. It's about, like, listen, this is what's happening in your world. Like, and punk has been the forerunner against, like, anything like that, like racism. Look at the people in Ukraine. If the people in Ukraine, the ones that stand up, those are the ones.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that we are talking of. Other people just stand by and watch it happen.
I've got a I've got a theory, right? And the older I get, the 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 more love I get for certain cultures and subcultures and genres. So I've got a theory, right? And I wanted to discuss this theory with you because we briefly touched on this recently, right? So
Yeah,
as children, our first 7 years that we grow up, we're young, we're malleable, and our brain is sponging with all of the information that we're provided. So let's see that as like your adolescent programming, because our brains are like taking in as much information as we can. And
yeah,
growing into teenagers, we basically try to make sense of the world. It's like those coming of age where we want to become adults and we're finding our identities, right? And between punk, emo, and all of these different music genres, or even painters or some sort of creative medium, we're trying to find our voice essentially because we are building our own identities along with that, right? So
exactly. Yeah,
from childhood, I latch on to emo because I feel like, okay, cool, I'm relating to that because I see that sad, and a lot of people would look at the aggression of punk because I'm aggressive right now, and this is what I'm resonating with. But the older I get, I respect why these genres and lifestyles exist, like, because the older I get, I respect the message behind this. For instance, emo. For a long time, a lot of people didn't speak about being sad or depression. It's not manly enough to talk about being sad. Cowboys don't cry in front of their horses and all kinds of things like that. Punk,
yeah,
these guys are actually standing up for what they believe in and what is wrong. And the same with rap. These people are talking about like really intense issues that's going on in all musical genres, or even like the message painters and everything is. And I think it's really important to think about, like, as children, why, and as adults, why, and how has music shaped you who you are today?
yeah. No, definitely. I mean, in many ways, I feel like, you touched on that now, is, I feel that our generation, especially from, if you were born anything from the 80s, the 90s, not later than, like, let's say 94, I feel that music for us, because we had limited access to it, you
Mm.
know, uh, we could every once in a while afford to buy a single CD, or you would borrow someone's CD, or in some way, if you were lucky, you had an iPod. But I mean, the music that you had, you would either find on the radio or just on the grapevine. And I feel that we coveted that more. If you had one CD back then, you listened to the whole thing, and you kind of almost religiously studied it.
You went
You
through your
studied the
little
booklet.
booklet, yeah.
The booklet, you went through the lyrics, you went through everything. And now in the age of Spotify, which obviously, if you live in an age where everything is accessible, the better for it. Because like the internet, we didn't have that much access to it growing up like the kids do now, and they're all the better for it. But I do feel that there's something missing because of something like Spotify, that now you have everything, so they listen to nothing.
I don't want to.
And I'm not saying they don't listen to anything. It's one thing to listen to something. It's
Another thing
another
to,
thing to
yeah.
really listen to it, like to really absorb what is happening, what is the message. Because I mean, a lot of people, they listen to music, but they don't really know what the lyrics are. And it's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, to each their own. We're not here to tell people how to listen to music. But I mean, some people listen to music for the lyrics.
Yeah.
And I feel the younger generation, a lot of that's missing for them. And I mean, I'm not judging. I just kind of feel sad that connection. Like I'm always going back. I'm always hammering back to the scene in South Africa, and like everything's kind of twisted, and it's like not like it used to be. And my first thing that I always say, it starts with a small thing like Tux FM.
Mm.
In Pretoria, especially, dude, Tux FM was the sea.
That shaped
That's how
me.
you
That shaped
knew,
me
dude.
as a kid because I remember, like, I grew up in my grandparents' house, right? And so
Yeah,
I listened to like old shit, Jim Reeves and Elvis Presley and Wham and whatever the fuck, you know? But
wham.
yeah, Wham, dude. But but that's where I kind of like shaped my identity as a kid, you know, like starting realizing like I resonate with this because music to me as a child, I listened to it and I was like, oh, this sounds nice. But like you said, I actually started hearing music via Tax FM. Like I used to lay awake late at night listening to the radio, and then the
Yeah, yeah.
DJs. What I loved, which you're talking about, immersing yourself in that world, that extra information the DJs kind of like this band did this, and they recorded this in Watershed's name, got their name from actually recording their first song in a shed that was raining, and all of things, and that extra bits of information kind of like made me fall in love with the art of music.
Yes. The little backstories and the little, like you say, the DJs back then, they used to like, they were the ones that knew these stories because they went and they did the research, or they heard it somewhere, and they would share these ludicrous stories sometimes, or just say, listen to the last part of this recording, you can actually hear the mic falling, or
Yeah.
so just a little something like that. It made you feel more connected to the art and less to the, how can I say, the person, because the person is never who you think they are. It's like meeting your heroes. It's never the same thing. But being connected to the art, that's a whole nother magical world that I feel we used to grow up like that. And I'm not saying like it's a bad thing. I'm not like, again, I'm not saying we were better off. Everyone has their struggles. But I mean, music, for me, that which shaped me, like not necessarily the politics of punk or anything like that. It was more the freedom that punk had versus everyone else. Like rock music, mostly they were always talking about themselves or some girl, you know.
The girl.
Rap music, they were always talking about them running the streets, or how tough it is in the streets, and it's fine. It's a great message because they were talking the truth about what was
They
happening
don't.
there. But I couldn't relate to that because I
But,
was a white guy in the suburbs.
but what you respect from
That
that is what a lot of people are like. Oh, it's just about booty shaking and bling bling. But the reason
Yeah,
why
yeah,
the reason why they flex like that is like, dude, I came from nothing. I came,
Yes, exactly.
I came from nothing, and this is what I've.
And that's the thing. Like even stuff like that, because I used to, when like Eminem, obviously Cypress Hill, when 50 Cent came out, I was a massive fan of 50 Cent because he was like kind of one of the last old school rappers, you know, like because I used to
DMX.
listen to Notorious, yeah, DMX. I love DMX, all of that stuff, the older stuff, straight up like loops and spitting the rhymes and stuff like that was fantastic. But for me, the one thing that stood out with punk beyond the anger and the politics and the messages and the "fuck you, stop wearing fur" kind of a thing, they were these songs that had nothing to do with anything except a singular story about a guy that hates taking showers. And I was just like so enamored by, but these guys get to say whatever they want to.
Yeah.
I remember the first time Blink 182, the first music video that I knew of that came out on MTV was All the Small Things. And the music video starts exactly the same way that the Backstreet Boys music video starts.
Yes.
And the whole thing takes the piss of Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. And it's not taking the piss of them saying that you guys suck and we're having more fun. It's more a thing of don't take yourself so serious.
Yeah.
And to me, that was, again, it was so special. It was so like, these guys are like gods to me. Because all these other people, they have to look a certain way and they have to act a certain way. And here comes these punk kids and they're wearing T-shirts. And, you know, they just having fun. And to me, that looked like the thing that I wanted to be a part of.
Mm.
You know, you can say the president is doing a bunch of shit that's wrong. You
Yeah.
can say that because, like, we are allowed to say that. But I can also say, like, I just ate my hot dog off the floor.
You literally have got a
Why? Because it's punk.
spoon.
I got a, wooden spoon. Like, anything is up for grabs. Like,
Yeah.
everyone always says the foreskin song, which is funny to me because that song Lives that we have, it starts with he had a foreskin before he was forced to cut it off. But that's not even the point of the song.
Yeah.
The rest of the song is a bunch of different stuff that happens to a bunch of different people. And it's just a way to portray that life gets hard and you don't know what it's like in another person's shoes. And yes, it's lighthearted and it's funny, but it's still a super serious message. The one, like, if you would compare it to what Elton John would write, it's the same kind of thing. It's just I get to say whatever I want to because it sounds funny.
Weight. It's got the same weight, just in medium.
Just in a different medium, because not everyone is the same. If you were to teach me math musically when I was a kid, if you were to incorporate music, I would probably be good at math today. But guess what? I'm not, because the people that taught math to the kids that were good at math. So there you go.
You're stupid now.
You guys did it wrong. Like, that kid already knew math, dude. Why are you teaching him? I'm clearly the one that needs the extra help. But there you go. That's what I mean. I mean, it's simple dynamics when it comes to humans. If you like something, you're gonna spend more time with it.
So the reason why I got you today is, would you believe there is, I mean, we talked about genres in music right now, but as kids, we, like you said, when we found a little artifact, a thing that we enjoyed, that we resonated with, during our, between inverted commas, identity finding journey, our coming of age times, in our generation, right? You had kids who became athletes and other kids who were like really into painting and other kids who did all kinds of, we were into music, we, coming from our generation, we found something and we latched on it because we enjoyed it. Would you say in today's age, there's like a lack of culture because, or not necessarily lack of, I think the culture has evolved to whatever is trending. So I want to emulate that versus I like this because I like this and this is why I'm doing it.
I mean, ask yourself the question when we were kids, right? And toys, let's just take toys as an example. You didn't necessarily buy a toy if it wasn't connected to a TV show that you liked, or there was some ad of some kid playing with this toy and having the most fun in the entire world with this toy, right?
Mm.
So information was always key. You could go to a toy store, sure, like, and look at all the different things, but even in the toy store, you would still latch onto, hey, here's a Ninja Turtle figurine or action figure. You watch the show, you kind of like that figurine. If you saw something else like Texas the Tasmanian tiger, you wouldn't necessarily think that's as cool as the turtle because you never saw that show,
Yeah.
for instance, right? And for that same reason, again, if you're gonna give everyone everything at the same time, but the only thing that you see as being popular, take the fidget spinner. That was cool for a hot second, right?
Mm.
And you had older people. My dad had a fidget spinner.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't think he knows why, but he saw everyone had one, so he probably had to have one. That wasn't the same as in our time, where the only thing that would have been available if it came out then was the fidget spinner. There wouldn't have been 10 other things,
I think
right? So,
where my justification of my statement comes from is when we bought something or when we latched onto something that we enjoyed in our, you know, because we enjoyed it,
yeah,
liked it. But I think that transition came between receiving information and being able to project information. Now
yes,
you can project information when it's easily accessible for anyone, right? Now I'm buying this thing, because I can make a TikTok video or become an influencer, and this is me, and I need to look good on my Instagram, or, When we were little, we didn't listen to punk so we can have a punk rock channel on YouTube and talk about punk, or we didn't buy a fidget spinner so we can do a review of that on some way. We we use the information, and like I said, when you got that CD, you listen to it not because you're like,
yes,
oh, I can post this on an Instagram reel or whatever. You listen to it because you liked it physically. And I think
yes.
that's where the
Like I said, if
culture
you had a
vision,
fidget spinner, you were probably into fidget spinners.
yeah, and I think that the vision of cultures come from between just being able to receive information and being able to project information.
That's very true. Yeah. I mean, again, like, we're not saying that we were better off. I'm
No,
not saying that. I'm saying that with each, I mean, why do you think like younger people always think my parents don't understand me. My folks don't understand me, this and that. And because they truly don't. And it's not their fault.
yeah,
I mean, look at us, right? We're not parents,
yeah,
right? True, we could be the age that we could be. We are older now than we used to be. I could be a father, you could be a father. That's fine. But the fact is, I don't understand the younger generation.
no,
I'm in a band. I play shows to younger people. I don't understand what they like, how they think. So how could I? Because they grew up in a completely different world than I did.
I just
The
think
same way that
cultures have.
my dad did.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
No, no.
I just think culture and subcultures and generations have evolved into a whole
Yes, but
entire
fast.
different thing that we're used to.
Mm,
Like I said, when we were angsty or we were children, we were coming of age, we found something and we immersed ourselves in that world. That's why our our parents didn't let go of the 70s or the 80s because that's what they had.
Yes, that was the world they knew.
And now, because everything is so widespread and information is so easily accessible, you made this comment the other day. You asked someone what they're listening to, and they said Spotify,
Yeah.
you know? So I don't think we're better off or worse off or whatever. I just think subculture as a general evolved.
It did, and it's scary for us as well because me myself, I can tell you that I placed so much emphasis on my identity formed out of my musical identity. You know, that I would still, even at in different work environments, I would use musical references for things, or someone would say a sentence and then I would say, "Oh, cool, it's that song." And people would look at me like I'm the crazy one. You know, because I placed so much emphasis on that is my world, that is my
That's
everything.
your
And then,
religion.
and then younger people, when you say, "Oh, that's cool," it's like that, and there's like, "What's that? I don't know what that is." It's like, how have you lived?
Yeah.
How can you not? Like I'm in a, like, funnily enough, like the guys that are in my band, which are like, some of them are significantly younger than I am, they don't know Fuzzy Gish or Crash Car Burn,
Yeah.
which obviously leads to them not knowing Tweak,
Yeah.
right? And to us, I'm not saying that these guys were like the best ever or anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm also not saying that they're not.
But they're
But I'm
part of a
saying to
cultural,
us,
they're part of a cultural generation in South Africa.
it feels like if you don't know them, to me, it's like saying, "Yo, who's Charlize Theron?" It's like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Dude, there's certain
How do you play in a
certain
punk band?
South African,
How do you play in a punk band in South Africa
you
when
know,
you don't know who these guys are?
it's like you get to a braai, it's like, "What are we having? Wors." And the guy's like, "What's wors?" It's like, dude, you're from South Africa.
Yeah.
How can you not know what wors is, dude?
Yeah.
It feels like that to me. And obviously, I might be completely wrong because I'm the older generation here, but like, I'm pretty sure if you ask pretty much anyone who's Bon Jovi, they would know, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I listen to Bon Jovi
We know Bon
religiously.
Jovi is.
They have great songs. But I'm saying, like, Bon Jovi, dude, how can you not know? How can you not know? But I mean, we live in an age where Paul McCartney did a thing, I believe it was with Kanye West, or
Yeah,
I
and
think it
people
was
see it
Kanye.
as Kanye gave him like his big break.
Yeah, it's like, who's this old guy with Kanye? It's like, yo, guys, that's weird because I grew up knowing who Elvis was, and Elvis died long before I was there, you know? So, how did that happen? That younger people don't know, like, what did their parents listen to?
I think
That's my question.
I think the if you have to take it to like just to put it like in a spectrum of like in a metaphor, I think in our time, let's see our minds as like a computer, right? And we had folders. This is our music folder, and all of our stuff is in our music folder. And this is our movies,
Yeah, yeah.
and all of our stuff is in the movies folder. And those are our movies that we downloaded and curated. These are bands that we downloaded and or bought the CDs for and ripped to. We spend time with these things. And
Yeah.
the generation right now, their folder, they don't even have a folder. They've got a cloud and the internet.
Yes, they've got Daily Mix 3 and whatever Spotify decides for you.
Their net is much wider spread. Like you said earlier, we had what was accessible to us. And because
Yes.
that net is so wide, it's almost impossible to latch something because next week there's something new or even tomorrow. I mean, our news cycle has gone from weekly news to like a 12-hour news cycle. That's just with the
Yeah.
news alone, you know?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to know, like, the thing is, because I'm not questioning anything, but it feels strange, right? The way that things are now. But I want to know if there is a clear indication of like, because this is evolution, right? And it's everything moves at a faster pace, and like emojis have become a form of language now, and it's all fair and well. But I want to know, is it us that were born out of that genre and or whatever you liked, um, kind of a indication of where you turned out to be, like you distinctly became a certain person because we had these certain options, and then that one looked the best for you and you kind of chose that one. And now the way that everything's accessible, do you think that people are more prone to not, like we had, just take an example, like in high school, we had jocks, right? We had the jock guys, we had the alternative scene, underground looking kids, we had the nerdy kids, and we were all kind of more classified in those groups,
That's
right? Like
yeah,
even movies portrayed that. Like in a movie, you'd always see that those are the jocks, those are the. But like that has significantly changed, because every single person that I've met after high school that I would have classified as a jock is also a musician now.
yeah.
And every single person that I would have classified just on the merit of their marks or the way that they attend school as the nerdy type of person, they are the cool guy now, you know?
That brings me back to my point when we had what was accessible to us and we chose something because we resonated with it.
Out
But
of that, yes, out
yeah,
of that, that was the thing.
that without needing to project it to the world. I mean,
Yes.
when I bought an let's say an album, if I bought like a AFI album and I went back home, I'm not going to share it on my Facebook. That didn't exist. I bought that AFI
Yeah.
album. I went home. I
For
listened
you.
to it. Or the jock went to after school activity to go play rugby and not share. He went to go play rugby because he liked that. And I think
Yes, yes.
that is where that division comes from. Like there is no micro classification anymore because
No, there
now
isn't.
now I'm buying or relating to something, and I don't think a lot of people realize. I mean, a kid, some of the younger generation kids or people will tell you, "No, I like this," but why do they like that? Because it's trendy,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's a trend on TikTok right now, or is it something that everyone is doing, or do you get a lot of likes because of this and stuff like that, or is it something that you actually truly like? And I think that is part of the micro evolution of culture is what people latch onto is not as niche as what we used to, because the latching, that for lack of a better term, is more content related, because I think that is the new currency of the world.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the thing that I want to know. Like, and again, I'm not asking within context of who's right and wrong, but there must kind of be an indication there. It's like, is it better to, like you say, not fall into these micro categories that we used to all fall under? And it was easier to see this guy as that kind of person. And now lately, because like people say that one term that I've heard before, it's like, you can be more than one thing, Susan. It's like, yes, you can. I'm not saying that, like, I'm saying that I'm a punk, right? But that doesn't mean that I don't like Chris de Burgh or Neil Diamond. And
Yes.
just on merit, no, I'm a punk. I'm not allowed to like it. That would be stupid. I obviously also like a multitude of things, but I'm not going to go, for instance, to a bridal convention, and not to say that there's anything wrong with anyone that does, that's up to you, dude. It's just, I have no interest there.
Yeah.
And it feels like the younger generation is like, hey, have you heard the new thing is bridal conventions? And then everyone goes to bridal conventions. And I want to know if it's because people are more open minded, or are they less open minded and more following the trend, like you say, because we were probably more fine with being alone, like buying the CD, going home, listening to it on your bed alone. And if you tell that to someone in 2023 who is 16 years old, they would say, that's sad, dude. You know, I don't know if, I don't know. That's the thing. Like, what is correct here? Is it better to be more broad spectrumed like they are? Or, you know?
I think that's a matter, and this is my favorite thing in the world, perception. It's a matter of perception. For instance,
Mm,
let me give you an example. People, you like you say, you're a punk, and I'm not into labels. I never label myself as anything,
yeah, yeah,
I like emo music. It's something I always resonated. But like you said, you can be more than one thing. Okay.
yeah.
Here's my rebuttal on that situation. Why do I like emo? How did it start? When I was little, I grew up in my grandparents' house. I listened to old shit. And then I got into Tux FM, where my open mindedness to music came on, and I really liked lyrics. That's one thing I knew I resonated with on music. And like you said, Eminem was the
Yes.
next thing that I could latch onto. So his lyrics was funny sometimes. Some of them were serious. Some of them were just bizarre. But he was kind of like the stick it to the man rapper back then, And from that, I transitioned into Limp Bizkit, which also had that rap element, but it's something new. Holy shit, what's this in heavy music that comes with it? From that, I was transitioned to
Yeah.
Korn. From Korn, I transitioned to Slipknot,
Linkin Park.
and from Slipknot, I went more dark, and then I was like, holy shit, Dimmu Borgir, Behemoth, Skull Mom, like, whoa, this is heavy, and after a while, I lost that lyrics, and then when emo came out, it's kind of like, okay, these guys, the lyrics are something actually way more badass than the guy says fuck you, because
Yeah.
these guys are talking about things that most men don't talk about, and that's fucking brave. I see that as brave, and that's why I like emo music. So sure, I like emo music, but what has happened and perspired that brought me to this point? So yes, I'm many things that led up to this, but this doesn't cancel out my journey towards that.
Yes. Yes. That's the thing. I think the biggest thing, the biggest factor is like when you find a song or songs or whatever the case might be, that sometimes it feels to you like the author is talking about your life or about you, or it resonates so strongly that it seems like this is my story, man. Like it's caught like on these little lyrics. It's my entire life story, and I resonate so strongly with it that that becomes the thing that you resonate with. Like I said, I also grew up, like my mom listened to a lot of Krista Berg, a lot of Neil Diamond. My dad was a lot of Dire Straits, a lot of Status Quo, Rolling Stones, stuff like that. And I still to this day, I love Dire Straits. I love Mark Knopfler. He's my favorite guitarist of all time, and all of these things also formed my musical identity. But I feel the first time that I heard a punk song, the music didn't, I never felt it was angry.
Mm.
I listened to it and it felt like this is the first time I listened to music that
It feels
it
home.
feels like it doesn't have a, yeah, it feels like home, but it also felt like it didn't have a vendetta. This is just fun.
So
This is like, this is okay, cool. This is taking all of that other stuff, but it's putting it in a place where you can be more like that thing. You can be more than one thing. You can tell the story of being really serious, but you can, in the same breath, you can just have as much fun as humanly possible. And the fast nature, the fast thing, I don't know, still to this day, it gets me every time. Every time I hear that fast thing, it could be anything. If it's fast, it's good.
So I mean, not everybody is fortunate to be on both sides like you are, as the the projector and the receptacle, right? You're
Yeah.
speaking about like how you listen to music to versus how you write, right? And I
Yeah.
find it like, as someone who writes from myself as well, right? Do you write with a special audience in mind, or do you write with a special one particular person in mind, or who do you write to when you write?
It's an interesting question. And I feel for me, it's the one place where I might sound or be perceived as being selfish. Okay. Because if you know me, anyone that knows me knows that that is the almost the exact opposite of who I am. Right. I would give you
Mhm.
my last, whatever I have.
Your
And
last
then,
roller.
yeah. And then just say, no, 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 I'm fine. I had enough. And then I didn't have enough. um, but when it comes to my music, I feel it's the first time that I felt like this is mine. You know, this thing, this one particular thing, especially with Joy Club, because I've been in other projects and stuff that were other people's projects, but when it came to Joy Club and it being mine, I never had the intention of trying to write anything that I felt that, oh man, people are gonna like this one. I know for a fact people are gonna like this one, you know, and or yeah, ooh, so I got one here. Or like, you know, it's just trying to write a hit or trying to write anything like that. To me, it was always my outlet, you know.
But do you write to yourself? When you write, do you see yourself writing to yourself?
No, that's the funny thing. I think there's two songs. There's two songs on my entire repertoire of songs that I've written about myself or for myself. Everything else has always been a story where I place myself in someone else's shoes, or I have seen something, or I relate it to some kind of story, and I think to myself, I want to write that story. You know, the
I
two
like that.
songs, yeah, the only two songs that are about me or about stuff that really happened to me is Anti Fan, because
Yeah, I was going to
that
say
happened.
anti-fan is basically,
It happened that night, and I never write songs about girls, especially in the context of a love song. And that one I feel is like an anti-love song. Um, but still, like that moment happened, and I felt I needed to pen it down, and it became a song that we love playing. And the other one is what's that song's name? Frank. The song's name is Frank because it's like, if I'm being honest, is the main lyric there, and it's the main lyric says basically, I'm a condescending asshole, and I know that I'm not. I'm basically being condescending and whatever, but I'm just telling the truth. That's the main message of that song. It's like I am that person. Like a lot of people would meet me and think, yes, this guy's just saying whatever he like pops into his head, and sometimes it might be seen as mean, but like, you know, I'm not
you're being frank.
being frank.
Yeah.
I'm just being frank about it. You know, it's like, and sometimes it's someone has to be, you know, and those are the only two songs that's about me. Everything else is about something that I've seen, you know, some experience that I've had, and or something that I've heard about someone, a life that they've lived. And that to me, that's, if we're doing the next album, the entire album is going to be about that. I'm more focused
So
on that.
the reason I ask you this question, and this can seep over to many forms of art, not
Yeah.
music specific, right? Do you think the method of you know, reading into the art or listening or the experience has changed over the years? For instance, when you listen, like you say, there were people, when we listened, we heard the music,
Yeah.
right? And when we looked at artists, we were like, wow, this guy sat and drew everything by hand. And do you think that message from the artist has been lost to at the persons looking at the art in today's age? Like, people don't watch a movie and think, damn, this director, wow, yes, um, Wes Anderson, what a guy. He's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
particular with this. Or, wow, this artist did this. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, anyone can make a movie with AI right now, and everybody can make AI generate the painting right now, whatever. Do you think that message from the artist to the person receiving the art is lost in today's life?
I mean, it would again, it would be projecting, if I can use that term, for me to say yes, because I'm not being again who I am. If everyone that knows me, I'm pretty much a very secluded person. When I'm not doing Joy Club, I'm here a lot. I'm at my house a lot. I don't socialize as much as I used to, and it's not because of any like kind of a disassociation with the public or whatever. It's like most people drink, and I don't have a problem with them drinking. I just have a problem with people that are drunk, right?
Oh, that makes
Because, yeah, well, I myself don't drink. I don't have a problem with it. I was never an alcoholic and I stopped drinking or anything. It's just, it's never been as fun for me. So, that being said, I'm too much not part of that kind of the society to make that judgment. To say like, yeah, no, people are just too disassociated with, because I myself always find myself thinking that like people don't really listen to lyrics or listen to my lyrics, and if only they did. And then you find two or three people that you meet sometimes, and they recite your lyrics to you word by word, and then I'm taken aback. It's like, yes, okay, this person actually took the time and listened to it, and it's usually a younger
yeah.
person. So I wouldn't know. It feels like that. It feels like that. But I mean, how would we know? Like, how would you know?
Let me put it like this: there's an easy way to actually just answer that question. And that's why I've got this theory that in today's day, that message, and that brings me back to the whole entire reason of this podcast, of the message of subcultures, art, and how that seeps over through to generations and generations, right? And
Yeah,
how mass projection and mass media has altered the evolution of culture, right?
yeah,
You don't see a a girl in sitting in a room hand drawing massive paintings, raking in millions of likes versus someone just putting on an AI filter on TikTok.
yeah, yeah,
You don't see someone who's actually sitting in their bedroom playing that song that they deeply, deeply, love, and they are vulnerable enough to share that with someone, getting the same amount of likes of some random Brazilian chick in an island somewhere in a bikini, just fucking doing whatever the fuck, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
That's how I feel like how the message gets lost. And that's what I meant with it. And I feel that's just a theory. Like I say, I just think, but I'm not saying in today's age, the message in all kinds of art is lost. I just think it's been diluted.
yeah. No, I mean, I'm like you say, like here's the thing. We being what we said earlier, we grew up in the time that we did, and the factions within high school were easier to spot, and it was easier kind of to find your group, even if you were the kind of odd one out. It was easy to find the odd ones out. It was still kind of a easier thing, and that was all you had. That was the little
Yeah.
group you had, and now the world
You guys
being,
are the oddballs.
yeah, but the world being now what it is and being so much more connected, like that it is now. I mean, we knew Clint Eastwood from seeing a Clint Eastwood movie. People can now tweet and then Clint Eastwood can respond. You know, it's a different world. It's a different interconnected kind of thing that, and people feel that, like in our day, if you didn't go to the socky, you know, what's a socky in English, like the school
School
dance.
dance.
If you didn't go to the dance, even though you kind of knew it was going to suck, you were missing out because it was the only thing available,
It's the
right?
only place to go socialize
It's
outside of your
the
house.
only place, the only thing that was there. So you kind of went to that, right? But now
If you didn't
that
go,
place,
you're like, ah, you
yeah,
missed
you're the
out.
super outcast, dude. Like, oh, dude, you should have seen this and you should have seen that. But the thing is, now that suki, that school dance, has migrated over to the internet. And if you are the only kid not doing TikTok, doesn't matter what your reason is, like you don't want to do it, you feel like this, you're eventually gonna feel so pressured to be that. Otherwise, you'll feel like you do not exist. You know, everyone talks about like, oh, this video that they saw, and like you see that like this kid did this and whatever. And if you don't get in on that, then you are in their world nothing, which is like, yo, the pressure. That pressure must be like intense. We were allowed to just be outcasts, you know?
But I think
Now, dude, the outcasts
generations,
are making TikToks, dude. Oh, hi, my name is Billy, and I, you know, that's that's weird. You know, it's like that's not what we were. That's not our time. So it's weird. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. Everything's kind of weird.
I feel, as much as we're, sounding like old people complaining about the youngings, that this happens in every generation,
Every generation. That's why I said earlier. Imagine like our parents talking to each other late at night when we were asleep, lying in bed. It's like, I don't know what to do about this kid, dude. Like, I can't
Yeah.
like get through to him. He's always angry and he just listens to fast music and he swears a lot lately.
Yeah. And he's
you
on
know,
TikTok all day.
it's just like, just leave me alone, dad. And then like fast forward 15, 20 years on, and here I am, not even a father, saying, yes, I don't understand these kids, man.
Yeah. You can
Yeah,
just
I
imagine
don't know.
everybody
It's weird.
from the 60s, everybody coming from the 60s and that massive synth wave coming through and everybody's
Yo,
like, what
yo, but that
is
was
this?
pretty weird, dude.
Coming from like, you know, instruments on stage, and that is like a band, instruments on stage, and then having people with all of this electronic gadgets on stage. And I mean, for that generation, that must have been weird. Like, what the hell
Super
is this? I
weird.
mean, even a band like a flock of seagulls, like, what are these guys? Or Boy George, like, what the hell is
Yeah,
happening?
yeah, exactly, dude. And if you were from that time, you must have thought like, yes, this world is coming to an end, dude. Like, look at what's happening. And I don't want to say that we're caught in that, at all, because like it's one thing to say, yeah, every generation goes through this, but like, yo, we've gone through one of the fastest evolving gaps, generation gaps. And like kids are smarter, dude. They are smarter than they've ever been.
I think where everything just feels a little bit intense for everyone right now, and especially in our age group, and why we cling on to nostalgia and kind of like don't understand the younger generation it is today, is technology has progressed so fast
Yeah,
in our time period. Like we still know what a VHS is.
yeah, dude. Like we know actually like that there's most that list of things like, do you know what this is? And do you know what that, like, I know all of those things. Like, yeah, I know all of them. I never had to deal with an 8-track, for instance, like an 8-track in a car stereo. You know what an 8-track is, right?
Yeah, but
But,
I mean, I
but
think
we know what
the
it is.
technology progress in those ages. I mean, vinyls were a thing for a long time. Same with
No,
VHS, long
CDs, I
time.
mean, Ask a kid now, a 15-year-old kid, like about a CD. He's like, what's a CD, dude?
But I think our technology has progressed so rapidly that everything just seems like out of whack. Like, what do we hold on to? What do we let go? I mean, like previous generations moved at a lot slower pace. And I think that's like how why we don't understand because next week it's something else. So
Yeah.
technology is progressing so fast. I think because we had like such a slow entry into the world, we kind of like feel like, well, where is this going? It's almost like the world is going too fast for us, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. It's crazy. But I mean, everything is cyclical as well. Like that's another thing that we have to understand. Anything that's popular is cyclical, and it all
Mm,
comes back to a form of something in the end. Like I feel the main thing is like, again, like you say, we don't want to sound like we're complaining or anything. It's just it's more a question. It's a question of like how do we get to understand, without interfering? Because like obviously older generations, they always feel like they kind of interfere. But like I just want to understand, and it's not to use that information at all. Like again, I don't want to write songs for these younger generations. I'm still going to write the things that I'm writing. I want to ask the question more in terms of, I want to know what they experience when they listen to music. Is it still the
yeah.
same? Like, is music still as powerful? I just want to know. I'm not going to do anything with it, even if the answer is no.
Has
But
the act of receiving the art, is it still as powerful? You know,
mm,
is that message still there? You know, like, are you a punk because of the message? Are you an emo because of the message? Are you a film fan because of the message? Are you do you like paint, Renaissance paintings because of the message? You know,
yeah,
is
yeah,
that the reason why? Is that the impact that it's leaving on you? I'm asking the same question because, pop culture is evolving in such a fast pace. And the reason why I had you on today is also just want to know, is the message still there?
yeah. Because at the end of the day, to me, that is the only thing that should matter. Because are we not mostly storytellers? Like
Yeah.
most people are storytellers. Like that is what we like. TikTok, take TikTok as an example. If you take one person's entire life on TikTok, isn't that a storyteller? That is what music was for us. That is what all of this was. And yes, we didn't have access to record our feelings and to put it out the moment we had them like they do. Right? Maybe that's the catalyst. Maybe that's the thing that was missing. Because if we had that technology, would we have done the same? If it were there from the start. I know for a fact I've written probably hundreds of thousands of songs sitting on my bed thinking at that moment, yo, if someone was here to listen to that one, that was a ripper. And sometimes it's like, yes, if only someone heard me now, kind of a
Yeah.
thing. It's like, would I have done it? Because now, look, it's 2023. I could do it. Have you seen me on my channel doing that? And I'm not doing it for any moral reason. It's just
But
I've
you
never
do it
felt
because
inclined.
you want to do it.
Yes, if I really have something to say, I will do it. But there's other pressures involved when you are in a musical group. I never want to feel like I'm letting anyone down, and that's on me. That's a psychological thing on me. I don't want to do something without my band, right? Because like I feel so connected. We are this thing. So I don't want to necessarily say, "Hey, look at me." I'm
Yeah.
doing a solo thing, and it's funny because it's like a selfish thing of me not be wanting to be selfish. I don't want to be seen as,
Yeah.
look at him, he's trying to branch out and do a solo thing, which is like, come on, that's not even the point. I'm just sharing a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's me.
And that's the beautiful thing that I find about, any type of art, you know, that taking that most vulnerable thing that makes you weird and individual and being brave enough to share it to the world.
Yeah.
That's art to me. And
I
that's
mean,
why I
like,
respect any form of art.
I can tell you right now, there's never been a show. If you ever find yourself lost and are at a Joy Club show for some reason, if you ever come to a show, what I mean to say, and you see me just before we get on stage, and then you see me on stage, you will probably notice it's two different people. Like, I I always feel like puking just before we go on. Always. I don't think
Nervous.
it'll, yeah, dude, I don't think it'll ever go away. But it's not a nerve kind of thing. Like, I don't want to do this. It's, I get super nervous because the waiting, I don't know if anyone could understand the waiting, how much that sucks. You wait the whole
Mm,
day to play a gig, then you get there, and then it's like that last half an hour before you get to play is the worst. It's the absolute worst. And then when you get on stage, everything feels like it's done in 5 minutes.
yeah,
It's
it's
like,
done.
what? We're done. What do you mean we're done? Like, I just started having fun, So, but that's like I said, not everyone has that. I still have nerves. I kind of like it because I know it's going to happen.
So, Jordan, this is a point of the podcast where if you had absolutely anything to share to anyone in the world right now, what would it be?
Hmm. Anything in the world right now.
You
So
can share anything with anyone in the world.
let's assume that
Mm.
everyone in the world is listening right now, right?
Yes,
And this is
everyone.
my one chance, my one platform to say
Your
something well. Yeah.
your Milli Vanilli
My
second.
Milli Vanilli second. Yeah, the funny thing is I'd probably fuck it up and talk about donuts or something irrelevant. But um, seeing as I am in that kind of somber mood, I would just actually say, you know, if people, I don't know, man, it's weird to kind of phrase it in a way without sounding preachy, but like, why don't people just like do cool things together? Like that's the best way I can say it without like sounding preachy. Like, let's say you are out there right now listening to this and
Yeah.
you are very, very rich, right? And you earned that money. Sure, I'm not going to take that away from you, but you can only use X amount of that money, right? Why not like kind of take it and put on a fucking cool rock show or, you know, open up
There's so
a,
many billionaires out there, and why
yeah,
isn't
dude, like,
anyone
why is
Batman?
no one doing Batman shit or making a fucking Iron Man suit or just do something cool? I understand Elon Musk, Mars, whatever. I get it. That's fucking cool, Elon. But we're living on Earth right now. Like, let's do some cool shit for Earth, man. Like, and that's probably my only message. I don't want people to, I'm not going to say everyone love each other and whatever, which I do want them to do. But just let's just do something cool. Like, not, I'm not saying let's fix the world or anything like that. Let's do something cool together, like everyone. That would be probably my message, and it could be anything, like fucking invent a new kind of toy that no one can live without, but it's not the fucking fidget spinner. That was just like a trend. Something really cool, you know?
I also think what I'm taking away from this message is, you invite people over for collaboration. You
Mm.
know, you do this thing really well. I do this thing really well. Let's make something new.
Yeah. I mean, like, why not try that? Not just stay in your, like, do the TikTok thing. But I mean, there's a millions of other people that do other things, like you say. Like, do shit together, man. Like, change the world. Fucking just like fuck around and change the world. Why don't you? Like, do something, you know? Like, you got all the power, you got all the means to it. Everyone's creative most now. So, like, do
Mm.
something cool. Like, have you ever seen that movie? I can't remember the name. I think it was Tomorrowland with George Clooney. Um,
Yeah.
it wasn't like the best movie, but the premise was like the world's greatest scientists, like back in the day, like Tesla and all of these guys got together and they built this like kind of world in the sky where all the smartest people would come together and just like make cool shit, you know? Like fucking just the coolest, dankest things that you can think of, just working together, like doing stuff like that. I'd like to be a part of that. Like Iron Man as well, those fucking Star conventions. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
Just everyone
Yeah.
just help each other out.
Or imagine if Comic Con was actually a thing where a bunch of artists came together and made comics together.
Yo, dude, how cool would that be? But you had like even like you say, you had this room and there's a bunch of artists and they work together and then they ask the audience, okay, cool, give us like a fucking premise. Okay, cool, yeah, there's the
Yeah.
superhero, right? But he's got like hypochondria or something, and then they build the story out of that. You know, that'd be kind of cool,
Hypochondriac.
man. Yeah, something like
I
that.
I am hypochondriac man. Oh my god. That
You
would be
know,
crazy.
so just something where everyone like kind of works together and makes something cool. It could be anything, like just you never know. At the end of the day, when people do play, that's when real cool ideas like, hey, we just figured out fucking world hunger while playing Yahtzee. You don't know.
I really want I'm really imagining this headline in a on a
Yeah.
newspaper. Teens solve world
World
hunger
hunger.
while playing Yahtzee.
Dude, you know what? That is the perfect band name. Teens
What?
solve world hunger by playing Yahtzee. If there's any young people listening out there, please start a band called that. If anything, just do
You,
that.
you, yeah, just did that.
Yeah, I'm kind
If
of
any,
jealous now that you get to do that because I'm not going to start a new band called that, but fuck, you get to.
uh, I've got a list of band names on my phone where every single time someone says something cool, I'm like, wow, that's an epic band
That'd be
name,
a cool
and then
band name. Yeah.
I write them. Do you want to hear some of them?
Yes, please.
Okay, I've got a couple of them. So I'm gonna write this one down now on my list, so it's part of it, so I can read it to people who want to start band names.
Nice.
The first one I've got is called Fish Don't Fuck.
They don't.
Um,
That's so sad.
and then there's one called Throne Probe. Um, Tamagotchi Funeral.
Yo.
Yeah, dude, it's my favorite.
So fucking hardcore.
I know. Pre-party pep talk. You know, existential violence.
Nice.
Please call Mix It. Um, in Dryfmoor.
Duifmoord.
Yeah.
Nice. Clearly for a Rammstein-esque metal outfit.
Afrikaans metal band. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jordan, I just wanted to thank you very, very, very much for joining me today on my podcast. I really enjoyed your stay here with me today.
As
And
always, a pleasure.
dude, I just wish you all of the best. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I want to just end again saying to everyone that please go listen to anything that you can find that's South African. It doesn't have to be my stuff. Just please go listen to every band that you can find and support them these trying times, as it were. Just go listen to the music, man. There's some really cool stuff. I'm not even like trying to sell you anything. Just like go check it out. There's cool stuff that you probably would like.
Trying to empower you.
I am trying to empower you. You know, there's cool stuff. I'm not even joking, dude. Like just go and check it out. Like Uh, that's all I'm going to say. Thanks for having me. Thanks for everyone that listened. I love you, and I hope everyone is safe and with power wherever you are.